Rivers State government refutes social media reports on shutting down operations of NNPCL. EFCC recovers 260 billion naira stolen funds, secures convictions. Major General Olufemi Oluyede assumes full command duties as Acting Chief of Army Staff.
My appointment as Acting Chief of Army Staff simply to hold sway while Lieutenant General T.A. Kamajara, Chief of Army Staff, is a way to enable him to take sufficient time to get necessary medical attention.
Hello and welcome to News Desk 3 on Nta News24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. I am Nta Daniels. Rivers State government has reacted to a news report circulating on social media alleging the closure of NNPCL and other oil companies operating in the state by the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara. A statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Joseph Johnson, describes the report as false and baseless. The statement reaffirms Governor Fubara's commitment to the rule of law and use of conventional approaches in responding to matters of governance. He therefore enjoins the public to discountenance the report, as Governor Fubara at no time contemplated or directed such needless shutting down of the economy for any reason. Meanwhile, political parties in Cross River State vying for seats as chairmen of councils and councillors have signed a peace accord for the Cross River State local government elections, affirming dedication for a peaceful, transparent and democratic process. Paul Abel reports that the accord was signed at the Cross River State Police Command headquarters, witnessed by the Commissioner of Police and the electoral umpire Cross-Sec.
With 10 political parties expected on the ballot for the 2024 local government elections in Cross River State slated for Saturday, 2nd November, 8 political parties penned their signatures on the document, but without the ruling party, APC, and the main opposition party, PDP. Not deterred by their absence, this signing ceremony, the Commissioner of Police, Cross River State Command, appeals to all political parties to abide by the terms of the peace accord, as it charges the party chairmen and their supporters to live in brotherhood throughout the election period, despite belonging to different political parties.
We have all agreed that we will do our utmost best to provide an enabling environment for people to go out and cast their votes.
Cross-Sec Chairman Dr. Ekong Puku commends the party chairman for each free campaigns and encourage them to extend the peace during and after the elections.
So please continue to maintain this level of cooperation with the Commission, and your responsibility that you have displayed so far, continue to maintain it.
Know that you have signed a document. Please align with that document so that we'll have a peaceful elections. After the event, all of us are still brothers so that we can embrace ourselves.
Other dignitaries present during the signing ceremony include the Commandant NSCDC Cross River State Command, Charles Brown, the Nigerian Immigration Service, among others. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC says over 260 billion stolen funds have been recovered this year, in addition to over $75 million assets recovery after securing 3,455 convictions across all categories of financial crimes. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede, while briefing the media in Abuja on strides and the new anti-graft preventive frameworks, says time has come for drastic actions to be taken towards redeeming the country from the vice grip of corruption and its dire consequences. Tokpe Alabi reports.
This media briefing is on EFCC's key achievements in the last 1 year, spanning between October 2023 and October 2024, and the chairman, Ola Olukoyede, represented by the Director of Public Affairs, says the commission is currently prosecuting 4 former governors and 3 former ministers for various corruption charges. Other notable strides of the anti-graft agency is monetary asset recoveries in naira to the tune of more than 280 billion naira and recovery of assets in foreign currencies worth $105.4 million, among others.
Also invited the executive governor of the Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba. He was here to receive 14 properties that were finally forfeited by court.
From the Special Task Force against Naira abuse and dollarization of the economy, prioritization of fraud prevention to a new department of fraud risk assessment and control, journalists want the commission to continue to work in line with its enforcement and prevention mandates. For Nigeria's foremost anti-graft agency, it is to leverage its robust collaborations to eradicate economic and financial crimes through prevention, enforcement and coordination. From the FEC headquarters in Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, Nta News.
Major General Olufemi Olatuborsun Oluyode assumes full command as the acting Chief of Army Staff, sequel to President Bola Tinubu's appointment. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, announced this at a symbolic ceremony in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
A symbolic ceremony ushering in the acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluyode.
The event today is something that is new, that's never happened in the history of the armed forces of Nigeria. But as human beings, we know situations will always present itself, and what is done with the situation is what makes the difference.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, in clear terms spells out the mandate of the acting Chief of Army Staff.
As professionals, we are to continue with our task ahead. No gap to be left based on the challenges we have in the country. And it's in the wisdom of the President and Commander-in-Chief that today we present the authority to the acting Chief of Army Staff for him to have full control and command of the Nigerian Army.
My appointment as acting Chief of Army Staff is simply to hold sway while Lieutenant General T.A. Chief of Army Staff is a way to enable him to take sufficient time to get necessary medical attention and recuperate. And that I intend to do with the whole of my heart and loyalty to the Constitution, as well as Mr. President.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Torid Abiodun Lagbaja, is on a medical leave. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, Nta News.
And the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Didi Wilson-Jack, says the Tinubu administration is working at developing a transportation scheme for federal civil servants to ease difficulties in commuting to and from work on a daily basis. She started this when she appeared before the House Committee on Public Service for an interactive session.
For that, we are working with relevant agencies to see how we can acquire some of the CNG buses that would be used to develop a scheme, a transportation scheme for federal civil servants.
Chairman of the committee, Sani Bala, urged the head of service to pay attention to the welfare needs of workers, especially in the areas of housing and insurance.
The Staff Housing Loans Board has been there for the civil servants. I know of civil servant that has benefited, but yet, you know, you have some source of funding which might not necessarily come into our budget. We have the service-wide board that supplies a bulk amount of money that they require to, and you have the revolving fund also. We want to know how much is being revolved, plus the money from the service-wide board, and what do you still need to augment the whole process?
Some months ago, during the time of my predecessor, that we did the groundbreaking for some houses for civil servants in the premises of the Public Service Institute of Nigeria. I am pleased to announce that we are about to begin the construction of those houses with the developers, and we are looking forward to those houses being completed in record time. Those houses, therefore, would add to the pool of houses that we have for civil servants.
And the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has appealed to Nigerians to remain faithful with the policies and programs of the Tinubu administration's reforms that are designed and been implemented to lead Nigeria to the desired destination of unlimited prosperity. The minister assured Nigerians that the federal government communication team will continue to engage the people through town hall meetings across the country. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
In view of the recent reforms, particularly the cabinet reshuffle, the federal government communication team, led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the end of a strategic engagement on critical national issues, roll out its plan to sustain the tempo in propagating activities of the government.
We are streamlining our strategy to inform Nigerians more about what we do. Of course, this is not the first time that this is happening. You know that we hold the periodic ministerial press briefings that we intend to continue with. We also want to continue with the town hall meetings that we have started. Very soon the National Communications team will go to the southeastern part of the country to engage with Nigerians in town hall meetings so that we take to them, to their doorstep, the message of Mr. President and his government, and we also hear from them firsthand what their reaction and their observations are about policies and programs of government so that we bring it back to government. Some of these reform processes ought to have started maybe 2-3 decades ago, but the president has taken them, and like I said, we will deliver. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to deliver on all these promises.
On the recent power outage that affected parts of the country, the minister appealed to Nigerians to be more vigilant and provide useful information to security agencies in the fight against criminality.
By Sunday of this week, we will have power fully restored to all parts affected. And like the president has also told the security agencies to be extra vigilant, and they are going to work around the clock. It is not an acceptable situation. The president will not accept any criminal disrupting power transmission lines in this country.
The meeting had in attendance heads of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, Nta News.
Let's take a break now. More reports shortly. Thanks for joining us again. Nta Nigeria has pledged continued support to the renewed hope agenda of the current administration by improving staff performance and efficient service delivery. The acting chief executive officer of Nta, Baba Saidu, expresses the commitment at a training session organized by senior staff of the agency. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Nta has identified its objectives to be in line with the 8 priority areas of the current administration geared towards delivering good governance to Nigerians. Nta is therefore training its staff to be well acquainted with the public service rules as well as retirement perspective and planning.
Without knowledge, whether you have money, you have fund, you have good environment, you have tools, without experience and knowledge, there is no way you can utilize it well. That is why we gather them together and call them for this training.
The resource person, Adekunle Oni, appeals to government and other employers of labor to pay adequate attention to workers' welfare to minimize corrupt practices in public service and promote life after retirement.
Allowances should be improved, especially the salary, to make civil servants to pay more attention to their duties.
For the workers, the training is an exposé to what is required of them for excellent service delivery.
It has taught me a lot of things as regards to civil service rules, what I have to do and what I am not supposed to do.
It will guide us and retool us to be able to do more and give our best into the service of the agency.
Nta says it will continue to collaborate with key stakeholders to ensure that more Nigerians benefit from the Nta initiatives. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And breast cancer survivors want persons diagnosed not to see cancer as a death sentence, accepting the reality and fighting the disease through early detection and early treatment they believe is a pathway to being a survivor. Lydia Sampson reports.
Your diagnosis for breast cancer is positive, not a news any patient undergoing investigation wants to hear. It is a painful reality that may occur, and Gloria Orji, a breast cancer survivor, say there is no time to have a pity party because cancer waits for no one.
There has been a lot that we talk about patients, breast cancer patients presenting late. Most breast cancer lumps are not painful. So it is a disease you live comfortably with. It's not painful. You just feel the lump is there. You keep on wishing it to go away. Even when it's growing bigger, it's not painful.
Starting with early detection, there are a lot of NGOs, there are a lot of charity organizations that actually offer certain discounted services that can support some of the screening services to begin to see ways that we can strengthen our primary healthcare centers, we can strengthen our primary care physicians to actually support in some of these treatment modalities.
Gloria and the medical experts are on the same page that self-breast examination backed with clinical breast examination is sacrosanct.
The national effort now, because I'm part of a member of that committee, to have a dashboard. Once you pick up a cancer at the rural area, it will eat up at the dashboard here in Abuja. So, Nta can give you real-time information on breast and all cancer in the country. That is what they're about doing.
They want the paucity of medical personnel and equipment tackled for robust access.
Ongoing International Cancer Week, which is going to be concluded today, is also has as part of the sub-team workforce, is to bring all stakeholders that are involved in training of this workforce and also international collaborators to discuss how do we train more and then retain more.
I think philanthropists, people of good means should actually create a kind of fund in every hospital, in every teaching hospital to support cancer care, because that is the only way. I mean, government alone cannot do it, but government is also trying.
With large number of cancer patients being indigent, affording the expensive care is a major challenge. While applauding the intervention through the National Cancer Fund, the experts are emphatic that more still needs to be done to reduce the breast cancer mortality in Nigeria. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
And the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, and Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations, ARPA, have decided not to go on with a 7-day warning strike embarked upon from the 26th of October 2024. The unions in a joint statement state that the decision followed an expanded NEC meeting that reviewed report from the conciliation meeting held between the leadership of the unions and representatives of the federal government on Tuesday, 29th October 2024 at the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. The statement says the suspension of the strike, effective from midnight 31st of October 2024, is in the spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding signed at the interface with the federal government and in general public interest. Meanwhile, a timeline of 6 weeks is given to the federal government to meet all the obligations contained in the Memorandum of Understanding. You are watching the News Desk at 3 on Nta News24. Time now to take a quick look at our major stories. Rivers State Government refutes social media reports on shutting down operations of NNPCL. EFCC recovers 260 billion naira stolen funds, secures convictions. Major General Olufemi Oluyede assumes full command